Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be predicting the champions in the UFC by the year end of 2023. So I'll be predicting who will be the champion in each and every weight class by the end of year 2023. So by the end of this year, who I predict will be holding the belt by the end of this year in each of these weight classes. So I'm gonna start with the women's, and I'm working my way up to heavyweight, and that's how it's gonna work. So first, let's start off with the smallest weight class in the UFC. We have the women's strawweight division, and who I predict to be the champion by the end of year 2023 for the women's strawweight division is I predict that Weili Zhang will still be the champion by the end of 2023. She has some threats, like Namajunas already has 2 wins over her and could likely find herself back to a title shot. And seemingly you expect the person who won twice to win again, but I don't think that's gonna be the case this time around. She got maybe Jessica Andrade can drop back down, and that could be an interesting matchup, and that could be somebody that potentially in a rematch if the fight played out more could have a chance to win. Could. But and also like maybe Tatiana Suarez coming back, but Suarez didn't look the best when she left, so I don't feel like she's gonna make this great return just yet. I don't feel like she'll challenge for the title truly till 2024. I feel like it's gonna be a year where she's gonna just knock some rust off and pick some wins up. So that's really, I think, her biggest threat at 115 right now. You could say Namajunas is really her biggest threat because she has 2 wins over her, but Namajunas has not been looking the best. And even that jiu-jitsu contest she just had recently, she did not look the best. Got tapped out by I can't even remember her name right now, but a fighter that's not even overall and skill wise and UFC wise and MMA wise, not on her level. And she got tapped out by her. And then you got Weili Zhang, who, really patched up that grappling area. Like she tried to implement it a little bit in that second fight, but now she just showed how much she improved even from that fight by, literally just dominating Carla Esparza, who Namajunas was so scared to go to the ground with. So striking already closing the gaps. Now the grappling is like closing gaps. I feel like in a rematch, Weili Zhang beats Namajunas, so could potentially tap her out in a rematch and won't even be any bit weary of going to the ground with Namajunas. Matter of fact, that might be her path to victory, and she can finish on the ground with her grappling over a solid grappler like Carla Esparza. So big improvement. Now to our next weight class, we have in the women's flyweight division, and who I predict to be the champion by the end of year 2023 is, I'm gonna have to go with Valentina Shevchenko to maintain her belt. I feel like it's gonna be one of those times where she's gonna be able to have some close fights here and there. Maybe a rematch with Talia Santos, probably going to edge by ever so slightly again over her. And then outside of Talia Santos, I don't really see no one else having an interesting threat to her. No one present seems to present no one present seemingly has that interesting of approach to her, or is not that interesting of a threat to her at 125. Maybe they can set up a super fight between her and Weili Zhang, and that'll be interesting. Then maybe one of them will lose their belt, or probably it's gonna be the case Weili Zhang would come up, and then Valentina will win, and it would be nobody lose their belt, so they both will still be champion by the end of the year. But yeah, I think the biggest threat, and really the only threat I see for Valentina Shevchenko is a rematch with Talia Santos, and seeming like she's not really rushed to fight again, so she might fight 2 weaker opponents and just wrap this year up without having to fight Talia Santos. So either be a real close fight with Talia Santos, I think that she'll likely win, or it'll be a case where she just bypasses Talia Santos at least for this year by fighting 2 easier stylistic matchups for her. So by the end of 2023, I see Valentina Shevchenko is the champion of the women's flyweight division. So in still. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division, and by the end of 2023, I see Amanda Nunes still being the champion. Look who's like really Raquel Pennington, Irene Aldana, like really no threat to her. It's like not what I really even had to say about it. It's like no threat to her. She already destroyed Raquel Pennington. Pennington ain't showing no improvements or anything, so I see her destroying her. Then you got Irene Aldana, who's very susceptible to getting bullied. She has a good puncher's chance about it, but if Amanda Nunes wants to make it easy, she could just drag her right to the mat and probably tap her out with ease, or just control her for 5 rounds. But don't see much threat from Irene Aldana outside of a decent puncher's chance. She does got those hands. She is pretty sharp, but if Amanda Nunes wants to fight smart, she could beat her just to drag her to the mat. That'd be the smartest path, and we have seen her do that when she goes into with strikers with Jermaine Durandamy, not once but twice. So I wouldn't expect her to do anything else but look to latch her up and throw on the ground, pound on her, maybe get a round and pound TKO or a sub. So by the end of 2023, I got Amanda Nunes to be in still in the women's bantamweight division. Now to our next fight we have in the women's featherweight division. And once again, Amanda Nunes in still. Don't even have to say that's literally that's it. In still 145. There's literally nobody in this weight class. And the people that are the people or person or persons that could be interesting, they still so many years off from being where they need to be to make the fight truly interesting. So anybody I see anyone that's near 145, entertaining 145 will get starched by Amanda Nunes. Like in the weight class, entertaining weight class, thinking about the weight class, will get starched by Amanda Nunes. So anyone that weight class is not even interested. 135 is very, very little bit of interest, like very little interest, but 145 is like completely a joke. So now we go to the man's weight classes. So now in our first man's weight class, we have the man's flyweight division. And by the end of 2023, um I have Alexandre Pantoja being the champion. I feel like he's right on the cusp of a title shot, or well, he's seemingly has a title shot lined up, and I feel like he could win this one against Brandon Moreno, which would make him unofficially 3-0 against Brandon Moreno. Is right now he's unofficially 2-0. Only one of those fights was a professional fight. The other fight was on the Ultimate Fighter, which he dominated him and he finished him. I think it was the first round. He finished him in the very first round. Then Moreno came off the season quick. The show was still rolling. Then he got a win over, I think, a then ranked fighter that was from SBG or SGB, whatever the name of that Irish gym is. So, who was doing pretty solid. I forget the dude name, but nonetheless, we're not talking about Moreno too much. Well, actually, we're going to talk about Moreno a lot because he's a champion right now. But yeah, I feel like Pantoja is just like similar to what's going on with Adesanya and Pereira and some of these other matchups. I just feel like Pantoja has Moreno's number. Moreno ain't the most clear technical striker. Like he has clean techniques in his game, but a lot of times he can be a little bit sloppy on the feet. Moreno can. Moreno ain't like this guy's such a clean textbook boxer. I don't think he's very much an MMA striker, MMA boxer. He's not this guy could go into actual box or even go to like regional, any like notable level of boxing and have success. I can't see that. Well, based off his technique, maybe off his heart and will and cardio, yes, he probably can win some fights and win, do success. But if just based off his skills would not pay the bills in any really respectable level of boxing. And like, trying to go for the worlds or trying to go for the nationals or anything that's like of note where you need to have high caliber boxing and all that stuff. I don't see that. So I feel like the biggest strength for Moreno is his pace, and I feel like that could cause issue for Pantoja. But I feel like Pantoja can look to this big brother him again, muscle him around. I feel like Pantoja's BJJ is better than him. I feel like he's physically stronger than him, and I feel like Moreno had such success against Figueiredo. I feel like striking wise, like Pantoja's striking, and he's already much. I don't know. He just does a better job at addressing with Moreno's strengths. And also see him could probably just blasting the legs of Moreno as well. Pretty good kicks as well. Like physically stronger, has that grappling. And it can really just, even though Moreno can push his pace, I feel like he can slow Moreno's pace down and just force Moreno once again to play his pace. And just again, big brother him. He just has his number until proven otherwise. So I feel like he could beat Moreno. I feel like Moreno coming off this win at the beginning of the year probably won't fight to the middle of the year. And then Pantoja will win, then he probably won't fight till later in the year. Maybe he had one more fight. Likely against somebody maybe he beat, maybe he'll fight Mano Cop or something like that. And pretty good fight. Maybe that'd be the fight to end the year. And I think Pantoja could beat him again and use his grappling heavily in that one. Maybe even be able to put away Cop this time, using his grappling in this one. Using his overall skill set, but getting it done in the grappling department. So by the end of the year 2023, I have Alexandre Pantoja being the flyweight champion of the UFC. Now to our next weight class. Our next weight class, we have in the men's bantamweight division in the UFC. And who do I see being the champion by the end of year 2023 in the bantamweight division? I have to go with Ricky Simone. So Ricky Simone, that's gonna be a surprising one to a lot of people who actually watch this video. Yeah, like you make it this far into the video. I feel like Cejudo's probably gonna get his matchup. It's probably gonna happen later in the year. And I think Aljamain Sterling's gonna beat him. Just out, use that length and just put up a lot of volume, score a couple takedowns, use his size and length to beat Cejudo. And Cejudo come off, he's probably expecting to get this big win, but going to end up not getting starched, but losing the fight. Sterling has been active, been a fresher fighter, having that length and having that wrestling and the grappling. He's gonna beat Cejudo. I feel like something gonna happen with O'Malley. You know, O'Malley's not really trustworthy. Injuries, this injury that he built like a toothpick. So I feel like something like that's gonna fall through. So Aljamain Sterling with this injury probably not gonna fight to the middle of the year or something like that already. This probably be Cejudo. This probably gonna be like one more fight, and I don't think Aljo is gonna underestimate Simone at all. I'm definitely not gonna think that is. I know the fans probably will, but I think Ricky Simone I feel has the better overall technique between the two overall. Definitely, Aljo has accomplished more, and he has his skills and has this and that. But I think striking wise, I feel like Simone is a cleaner, more technical striker. He probably more. I feel like he's more physically strong than Aljamain Sterling. I feel like he's coming right into his prime, and I feel like right now Sterling's on his high, but I feel like he's gonna start to dip probably by the towards the end of this year, or really not dip, but I'm not gonna say dip. I just feel like it's gonna be one of those fights where it's gonna be probably close, but I feel like Ricky Simone will be able to address the grappling, be able to have success with his own grappling, and he's gonna have the power, he's gonna have the faster hand, and he's gonna be the one landing the damaging shots. Will he get the fight out? You know, will he end the fight in the distance? I don't know, but I feel like hypothetically, I feel like Ricky Simone has pretty good chances to win the belt, and I'm gonna go with Ricky Simone to be the champion of the bantamweight division by the end of year 2023. So now on to our next fight we have in the men's featherweight division in the UFC, and who do I see is the undisputed champion by the end of year 2023? And who do I see being the champion? I see Ilia Topuria being the champion by the end of year 2023. I think what's going to happen is I feel like Volkanovski is likely going to lose to Islam Makhachev, and then he's going to take some time off. And then while he's taking time off, there's probably like an interim belt. It's going to probably move around a little bit. And I feel like Ilia Topuria is going to get his hand on that belt. And then once Volkanovski, gets himself settled back in the weight class, he's going to try to make a defense. And I feel like Ilia Topuria is going to catch him, upset him, and take his belt, like to wrap off the year 2023. So by the end of year 2023, I see Ilia Topuria is the featherweight champion. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division. And who do I see the champion at the end of 2023 is? Let's see. I think Islam Makhachev maintains the lightweight title, and it's at the end of the year 2023 it will be instilled Islam Makhachev is the champion of the lightweight division. So he always got Makhachev. It's not Makhachev. He always got Volkanovski coming up, but I think he should be able to give past Volkanovski. He's already predicted. I think he's too big, and it's not just about size; it's about technique as well. And I feel like Volkanovski kind of maybe looking at him too much as size and stuff, and he think about I train with this guy, train with that guy, but I don't feel like he has anyone that really can prepare him for Makhachev. Still think it's gonna be a very competitive fight, but I think that size will play a factor, and also probably even more than the size is how Makhachev will use it to wear on the smaller fighter in Volkanovski. And Volkanovski also hasn't really had to fight anyone that wanted to wrestle him and could wrestle him for 5 rounds, and also didn't have that BJJ combination with it as well. So I just think it's gonna be a little bit too much for him, bite off a little bit more than he could chew. But good on him for taking the test, but I think he won't pass his test. And then other than that, I really don't see no one in the immediate vicinity of Islam Makhachev cause him any threats. Charles Oliveira fights him again, he's gonna get beat again. Might look a little bit better, but still gonna get beat again and stopped again if they fight again. You got Arman Siakarin. I don't think he's gonna really even probably get a title shot. He still needs a lot more to do, and I still think he gets beat again if they fight. I haven't seen enough from him to see that adjustment. Like, he gonna beat he could beat Islam. He still probably needed 2 years at least, I feel. And again, like most other people, what Poirier and Fiziev, really primarily strikers that he could just take down and submit. So ain't nobody in his immediate vicinity outside of Volkanovski who can beat him. So he gets past Volkanovski, I feel like he's pretty safe as long as he don't fight Michael Johnson. He's pretty safe. So yeah. On to our next weight class we have in the welterweight division. And who do I see being the champion by the end of 2023 in the UFC's welterweight division? I see Khamzat Chimaev being the champion by the end of 2023. I feel like Usman, I feel like he'll regain the belt, maybe make one defense or maybe make no defense. Well, yeah, make no defense. Maybe win the belt, probably take some time off the hill, get his belt back and try to get some sense back with himself. Like, oh, I've got the belt back. Now I can sit on the throne, relax a little bit, suck it in, like soak it in, and then probably in the year, probably fight one more time, and that's probably be Khamzat Chimaev. After Chimaev probably run through one or two more opponents, and he can't be denied a title shot. And then eventually they had to fight. Yeah, he probably run through like Kobe Covington and maybe like one other person, and then get that title shot. And I just think he's coming into his prime, and Usman's exiting his prime and got bad knees, and just come not too long ago been knocked out to end the year 2022. So I don't feel like he'll be able to take damage as well, and I don't feel like. And also, it'll be the smaller man, and like the man that's exiting his prime versus the man that's entering his prime. It's like father time, mother time is undefeated, and I think it's Khamzat's time, and he's coming into his prime. As long as he can make the weight class, I think 2023 welterweight will be his year. Maybe even attempt at 185, but I definitely think 170 is money for him, and he's already in position for the title shot. And I think he will capitalize, and I think he will succeed in his title aspirations at 170. So by the end of year 2023, I see Khamzat Chimaev is the welterweight champion. Now to our next weight class. Next weight class we have in the middleweight division, and who do I see is the undisputed champion by the end of year 2023? And who I see the champion is I see instill Alex Pereira to be the middleweight champion. He's already 3-0 against Adesanya. I know Adesanya had his moments in that fight, but he has moments in literally all the other fights and was winning probably the majority of all those fights. And probably should have won the first fight, but second and now third is like, you got stopped. What can you say? You were winning the majority of the fight, but you got stopped. So that's all that matters. You got stopped. And he literally just came into MMA and beat you like you left the sport and became the champion of another sport. He followed your sport and with limited experience beat you again. No matter how he cut it, it's like tough pill to swallow. It's kind of hard to say to pick against Pereira in a rematch. So I feel like Pereira's gonna beat him again. Then I ain't really too worried about Robert Whitaker beating him. I feel like Robert Whitaker is more susceptible to the hook than anything you're talking about. Robert Whitaker wrestling him and submitting. Robert Whitaker's grappling and all that phenomenal. It's solid and stuff, but it ain't like the greatest threat in the world. So I feel like Pereira probably by the time he fights Whitaker, even right now, if he fought Whitaker right now, I feel like his size is too much, his power is too much, his hooks too much, his time is too much. I feel like he should be able to address the wrestling of Whitaker and then be able to find that opening when Whitaker lunges as he typically does, catch him with a hook while he in midair, knock him out probably first or second round. It's too big, too strong, and Whitaker's a sucker for a clean hook, and that's literally what Pereira has on the menu all day long. So I feel like the whole cycle of life, like, oh, Adesanya beats Whitaker and Whitaker beats Pereira, that's not it. Pereira beats both of them. And he makes Whitaker look pretty easy, I feel. Then outside that, so he probably fight Adesanya, beats him again, probably takes a little layoff, and then they probably gonna match him up with Whitaker or somebody next, and that will probably wrap up his whole 2023. I don't think he'll go up to fight Jamal Hill for the undisputed belt just yet, and go for that super fight because again, both guys just won the belt, so it's like too soon. I don't think they're gonna rush to that. I can see if maybe one of them was already pound for pound number one or something like that, or like it's like with the Makhachev fight versus Volkanovski, where Makhachev like number two, and Volkanovski has been putting the work in, and he's defending his belt enough time, so this is kind of a reward to test himself, and he's number one now, so that kind of makes sense. But in this case, it don't make no sense. So they're gonna let them both hopefully keep winning and building up wins, and then maybe in 2024 they'll match them up. So I don't see no super fight between the two of them just yet, and it wouldn't even be a super fight is it right now. So I don't see that till 2024. And so now into the light heavyweight division, who do I see as the champion by the end of 2023? I see instill Jamal Hill is the champion by the end of 2023 in the UFC's light heavyweight division. I think he has some interesting threats. I think the biggest threat for him is Magomed Ankalaev. He's a full war-round threat, and the wrestling could be a very big issue for Jamal Hill, but I feel like Jamal Hill's wrestling defense is going to continue to improve. And I think he should be able to prevail in that one. Maybe get a stop, but I definitely see that as a very competitive fight. And I think that's his biggest test. Matter of fact, I think that's his only true test. Matter of fact, all these other tests, I can't not forget about these guys. I think Blachowicz leg kick is definitely a big issue as well. His grappling is a big issue as well. Not as big as Magomed Ankalaev's grappling and wrestling, but definitely combining the awkward striking, the leg kicks, and then mixing the takedowns, it could be a bigger issue. But I just think at this point, I think Jerry Jan Blachowicz is getting up there in age. He's susceptible to feet. And I think Jamal Hill is probably the best person to be able to capitalize on those big gaps that Blachowicz often leaves there. So I feel like he probably knocks him out within 2 rounds. Then Magma Live, that fight is definitely up in the air. I might even like by the time of the fight, I might have a different opinion. But as of right now, future prediction, and it's not changing since these is just throw them out there right now. Future predictions. I gotta go Jamal Hill as the champion. And I feel like he matched up very well with Jerry Prohaska. Prohaska come back. I feel like he sparks him in under 2 rounds, or I'm gonna say under 3 rounds. He sparks Prohaska. Prohaska just open for the whole kitchen sink. And Jamal Hill is very good at dropping that dime on your chin. So you don't leave that big chin hanging out like you Littlefoot from Land Before Times. He gonna put something on your chin and he gonna put you out. You get rocked every single fight, he gonna put you out. You give it to him, he gonna put you out. So, but I think and also I don't think Proskauer does very many leg kicks. He kind of just hangs his hands low, maybe does some flying knees and stuff, but not too many leg kicks on him. Maybe some teeps to the body, but regardless, I just think when they do fighting, Jamal Hill will be more than ready, and I think he will put him out. Blachowicz, I think he puts him out. So really his biggest threat is Magma Ankalaev, and I feel like that's definitely a 50-50 fight. But I think Jamal Hill can pull it off. So by the end of the year 2023, I have Jamal Hill is the undisputed champion and still light heavyweight champion at the end of the year 2023. So now to our next fight. We have next fight. I'm thinking of fight predictions, but now to our final weight class, our next division, our final division, heavyweight division. By the end of year 2023, I see Johnny Bones Jones is the undisputed heavyweight champion by the end of year 2023. So he has a couple interesting threats. He has Cyril Gane right there. He has Curtis Blaydes. I feel like in reality, Curtis Blaydes, well, in my opinion, I feel like Curtis Blaydes is actually the dark horse of this weight class. And he can pull off, now with Ngannou not there, he can definitely pull off and win the belt. And also with Derek Lewis fading and Ngannou gone for now, it is definitely going to end up being Curtis Blaydes' weight class. He's been waiting to be the champion. He's been getting better, and this is definitely the weight class. He don't have to worry about really any power striking from John Jones, so he don't. And also a smaller guy, not a truer heavyweight like the other guy, so less mass to wrestle, less work. Had to worry about getting his chin clipped, and he could just thrive. And I feel like he's striking nowhere near the level of John Jones, but he has power, he has size as well, and that's something John Jones don't have. So he could potentially knock John Jones out, where John Jones' chance of knocking anyone out is very slim. So, and without having to worry about a lot of things, that he makes some very interesting style matchup for John Jones. Cyril Gane's an interesting threat as well, but outside those two people, I'm really not super impressed with anybody. Well, there's also Tom Aspinall, but I don't think he'll fight until 2024. But he matches up very well with John Jones as well. But with the injury, I think he's going to come back and just work on putting some wins together. So I don't think he fights for the belt till 2024. Whereas the immediate threats is Curtis Blaydes get a title shot by the end of the year, and Cyril Gane's already fighting for the vacated title against John Jones. So he's already there. So and Sergey Pavlovich, I think he's a fraud, to be honest. I think he's a pretender. Among these guys, I think he's a pretender. I just think he's a wild, loose brawler, and I feel like he's gonna get exposed to be that by either Gane or guys like Aspinall, Blades, Jones. He's gonna get exposed by those guys. But as of right now, he's looking good, but I don't see him as a true threat to the title at all. Getting these fast finishes, but I don't think his skill or technique is all there. Fight IQ, all that stuff is all that high level. And I think when people send him past that little rush and start to make him really have to fight and be technical, I think he'll get put away once again by any of those guys. So yeah. But Cyril Gane, if he can keep on the feet, it's definitely a winnable fight for him. So that's a big threat for John Jones. And Curtis Blaydes, he can seemingly give John Jones issues in the striking, the wrestling, every single area. He's not going to be this guy like, he's going to hope to knock John Jones out and just hope to defend the takedown, knock him out. Curtis Blaydes could look to wrestle, control John Jones, look to knock John Jones out. I think his area where he can't do is submit John Jones. Curtis Blaydes, for some reason, just seemingly never really improves on his BJJ. He's more so control, never shown that ability. Even though he's flipping guys around, slamming them in the neck, he can't manhandle them. He can't get a submission, or he can't sink hooks in. Like he just act like his legs have no worth to them. He just be hanging off. You don't look to put he don't look to get no hooks in or nothing. Just basically just wrestling. So hasn't really shown no significant sign of jiu-jitsu at a higher level as far as MMA or success of BJJ, using his BJJ or success implementing his BJJ at a high level in MMA. So Yeah, but I think John Jones can win it. I feel his IQ is above everybody in his weight class and really everybody in the sport. I think he can bring his size up to the weight class. I don't think he's going to be big for the weight class, but I think he can maintain himself and manage himself at his weight class so that he can still have his speed and also still have his wealth of technique and all the advantage that he will have over literally just about anyone in the world outside of very few people that he probably won't ever fight because they in what middleweight and stuff are they retired because yeah, it's only what like yeah. Matter of fact, the people that have achieved what he achieved like Mighty Mouse, Anderson Silva, GSP, GSP like welterweight, middleweight, and retired. That's never gonna happen. And Silva like 50 years old, ain't happening. Mighty Mouse is literally like 5'1", that ain't happening. So Hudo like 5'1". It's like, but Hudo I wouldn't even put in that category. Hudo's amazing, but he's not in that category. Yeah, so the people around that level I ain't gonna say it, but definitely not gonna say this is the easiest path for John Jones to defend the belt. This is a lot of interesting threat. Like I said, Blaze is probably for me the most interesting fighter at heavyweight right now, to be honest. He could definitely be that black horse and pull off an upset and win the belt. And I don't know, a lot of people probably saying it's either gonna be John Jones or Cyril Gane or even probably Don Pavlovich in it, but I think it's between those three. I think it's between Jones, Gane, and Blades. And I would say Jones, Blades, Gane as far as who has the best chance. So I would put Blades actually above Cyril Gane. So again, by the end of the year 2023, I got John Jones being the undisputed heavyweight champion. I just think if it ain't broke, it don't fix it. I think he's gonna have renewed motivation at this weight class. And at least through the year 2023, he should be able to stay focused, stay sharp, and have that fire lit under him once again, and should be able to thrive in this weight class. But 2024 will probably get even more interesting if that fire starts to dwindle or something. He starts to fight like he fought at the end of his 205 run. He got say 8 fights, so can't let stuff burn out in 8 fights. You still got plenty of fights left to go, and this is just the first one of a new contract. But definitely interested to see how it goes. But yeah, by the end of year 2023, let me say it again. By the end of year 2023, I have John Jones is the undisputed heavyweight champion. And that's my predictions for all the champions by the end of year 2023 in the UFC. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And come back for more videos. Peace.